I'm Kurt Myllymaki, a third-generation farmer, Stanford, Montana. We have a cow-calf operation, my wife and I, and then the family farm corporation farms no-till, continuous crop, winter wheat, spring wheat, barley, oats, chickpeas, flax, and yellow peas, and hay. Diversity is a key. It's one of the soil health principles. We get a lot of man-made problems from growing the same sort of crops year after year, disease issues and things like that. And then when we rotate in things like pulse crops, peas or lentils or chickpeas, then they fix nitrogen in the soil, so then we don't have to use as much man-made fertilizer with the next cash crop, which would typically be winter wheat for us after the pulses. Most people in our area use a hoe drill, and we got a double disc no-till drill, and it's been great. It just cuts a little trench as opposed to a hoe drill pulling up big clumps. The combination of that with the stripper header have been a great addition. The stripper header has a lot of benefits from being able to harvest faster, but then we get a lot cleaner sample. We don't get any deductions when we haul in grain because it's so clean.
My name is Marnie Thompson. I work for the Natural Resources Conservation Service. My official title is an Area Resource Conservationist, and I work in the Great Falls area. So with the cover crop cocktails, we call them, we can add a bunch of diversity all at once. And a lot of times it will have sunflowers, a lot of different kinds of millet, sorghum, Sudan, faba beans is kind of one of the new favorites, along with forage collards. And each one of those grows differently. They each have different root systems, and they attract different microorganisms in the soil, which makes the soil better and healthier. I am in charge of facilitating or organizing the soil health workshops that are 9 years running annually here in the state of Montana. I do a lot of education, meeting with producers all over my area. I actually run the rainfall simulator and a lot of soil health demonstrations.
We've done some equip projects, and then we started with them with the cover crops with some plots, and then just seeing like the different soil tests that they do, whether the rainfall simulator and the slate test and things like that, that really opened our eyes up to what some of our practices were doing to our soil and what we needed to be looking for as far as seeing improvements.
Working with Kurt has been awesome because we've actually had him speak at our soil health workshops, and it's much easier to hear it from a peer than a government employee.
My name is Pam Linker. I'm a soil conservationist out of the Stanford Field Office, USDA, NRCS, and I work in the entire area of Judith Basin County. One of the things I like to do as an NRCS person is to be able to refer people to other farmers and ranchers as a resource. And so that's been really great to have them in this county, the Myllymaki. They've done a lot of soil health and progressive changes with their cattle.
Most people calve in the winter time, and we calve in May and June. We used to calve in February and March, and we would go out and feed from December through April every day, hay, and then during the calving time, we'd have to run everything through a barn because it would be sometimes 20, 30 below with the wind chill, and calves would die if you weren't there, so you had to be up all hours of the night. And so we switched from February 1st of calving date to May 10th. It has worked well. Now we don't touch any of the calves when they're born. We brand later in the summer. It allows that calf just to have the time with the mom. Because of our grazing practices, we've been able to cut our hay usage by 75–80%. We've seen an influx of wildlife in our system, whether it's birds nesting out in our stripper stubble. When we graze our land and we're on it for a day, then we're off for 300 some days after that, and animals will move in that we haven't seen before, insects, plants that are coming up in areas that we hadn't seen before, willows and cattails along the creek areas that we didn't used to see. The intercropping is new to us. This is our second year.
And I'm pretty excited about it, especially up here in the Great Falls area. It is a way to add diversity, but still actually produce a crop and get money for it. So intercropping is just planting two different species of crops together. Sometimes those can be in the same row and sometimes they can be in a different row. The most common ones that we have seen are chickpea flax, and Kurt Myllymaki has actually done that. Another mix that's pretty common is mustard and peas, or canola and peas, and there's several different benefits to that in that the peas climb up the canola so they're easier to harvest. Peas do not leave a lot of residue after it's harvested, so when you can put it with a different crop, there's more residue to protect the crop.
We've been on a journey over the last 5 years of working with nature and trying to mimic nature instead of always fighting it.
As we see more of the younger producers taking over, they want to do this. And so they're finding a way that they're going to make it work. They're going to make the equipment change. They're going to embrace the maybe calving later, changing the whole system up, which is a hard thing because, you know, everybody's done it the way Grandpa did it for a long time. But I definitely see a bright future for it.